Hi, my name is Meredith. I'm a writer and I am doing NaNoWriMo this year. NaNoWriMo is where writers decide to write 50,000 words of a new project in November in 1 month, 30 days. It's crazy, but it's so much fun. I'm participating, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my second book and the trilogy that I'm working on right now. I'm writing a fantasy book. However, I have to plot it first. So that is what the next 2 weeks are going to be about for me. And so I'm going to take you through my outlining process in this video and kind of a vlog style of just how day by day I am building this book. So to start off, status update, where am I right now? Well, first of all, in time, it is October 16th. And the status on book 2 is that I have had several very successful planning sessions, brainstorming sessions. They happened accidentally, which is the best kind of planning session. This was like waterfall, torrential downpour. The inspiration for book 2 is fully kicking in. What do I have in terms of writing? Well, I started out with a really general structure outline because that's how I think now. So I have this kind of broad strokes structure outline. My next step is to fill out that in detail. I've already been doing that over the past couple days since I wrote it. I feel like I need 1 or 2 more sessions of just like, let's keep brainstorming. Let's see what else we have. Let's dream a little. Let's just play around with it. And then after that, I'm going to sit down and do a chapter outline. That's going to be tricky because that actually means getting into the details that I tend to like to just kind of pants, but I know I probably shouldn't if I can avoid it. So I'm going to start with the chapter outline and we're going to see how far we get. Okay, let's plan this book. Okay, I'm a bit sick, but that's not going to stop me from outlining because we have a deadline. So for the past couple days, I've been letting myself just hardcore daydream. And so I've kind of been letting the structure and the overall conflicts grow in my mind. The scenes that I'm daydreaming are fitting within the structure. And so I like that mix of already having thought about it enough to where my daydreaming is useful. It's not just stuff I'm going to cut later. It's not just fanciful. It's like, we're going to make these scenes work. But I've now come to the point in time where I need to start outlining. So basically, it just takes a little bit of math. Break it down by the word count that I'm targeting into the number of chapters, break those number of chapters down into how many chapters I'm going to need per act. That's a pretty solid formula to work with. The next part was figuring out word count. So I am a massive overwriter. Okay, so if I'm an overwriter, I know I'm probably going to write to about 100K if I plan for probably 15K lower. So I was like, okay, I'm going to plan for 85K. Okay, so I want my total word count to be 85. Okay, so figure out what your total word count should be. If you're an underwriter, maybe shoot for more than that, plan for more than that. Or if you're a normal person who can do normal things like they plan, then plan for like 100 or whatever your genre says that you should be writing. I'll probably overwrite it, but let's start with 2K per chapter. And we need to divide 85,000 by 2,000 words. So that gets me roughly, like 42 and a half chapters. Okay, so I rounded that up to 43 chapters. So if I stick to around 2,000 words per chapter, then that gives me a lot of chapters to work with. They're all short, and it's going to put me at my desired word count, although I know I'm going to overwrite some of those chapters, so it also gives me breathing room while still not going over budget. And potentially this will change a lot, but we're just outlining, we're just making the structure, we're making the basics here. So if you split this book up into 4 acts, which I plot by a 4-act structure because it makes so much sense to me. So if you split 43 into 4, you get 10.75, so you have around 10 chapters to play with in each of those quarters. Because we have a couple extra chapters here, I marked off 3 or 4 for the midpoint. Okay, so basically it comes to the hard part now, which is filling in the outline, and then the math is going to change based on that. Outlining in this way and knowing which scenes I'm going to sit down and write every day cuts out connective tissue that I might be tempted to write as kind of a pantser mindset of like, well, I have to connect one thing to the next, where it's like, no, actually, you don't. You just have to show the next interesting and important thing that the reader actually needs to know. So I already feel like this is streamlining my process and my drafting and my thinking. I am now in crunch mode as I'm outlining, and you think that like you're just going to sit down and outline and the story is just going to happen, and it does to some extent. But basically what outlining is short form pantsing, right? And so you're confronted with all the details that you do not know. And so then you have to sit there and brainstorm once you hit an issue, and you have to just figure it out. So that takes hours, just so long. Today's October 30th. Yesterday, I had a down day and I worked on my outline for a very long time. Yesterday, I started off with Act 1 outline. That's like less than a third of the book, so I had a lot of work to do yesterday. I sat down to outline the fun and games and realized the character does not have a goal. There's just like things that are going to be happening. There's like a plot archetype, but I'm like, okay, the plot archetype doesn't actually have a goal at the end. So I had to give this character a goal, and that instantly focused it. Like, instantly, there's a step by step plan. Giving your character a goal will solve so many of your issues just over and over. Right? Because these things aren't just happening to these characters. These characters are pulling themselves through the situation that is happening to them and trying to get out of the situation, or trying to pull themselves into a better situation. So got to give them a goal. It's tricky stuff when you actually really get into how many elements there are in a book. Like, a book is a big undertaking, and you can't just like slap this thing together. What I will say is I did finish my entire outline yesterday. So I got all the way to the end. I actually used up the exact number of chapters that I had planned out for myself. I'm sure things will change and develop as things go. They always do, but we're probably going to stick around like 43, 45 chapters. That brings us to today. It's October 30th. So I wake up today, I have a full outline, but I know that there are a bunch of elements that are missing. So basically today I'm writing down all of the elements that I know I did not do to my own satisfaction, because what I want to do tonight is a little bit of a project, and it is to create a pared down version of that outline, because right now it's 13,000 words, which is more than 10% of what I want the final draft to be. And that's a little scary to me. I know that there's like extra ideas in there and stuff, but still, it's supposed to be like a chapter outline of only official information. And I'm like, I did not write 10% of my book into this outline, did I? Anyway, that's scaring me. And then I want to print it. I want to basically go over it with me and my husband and be like, is this the book that I need to be writing, this NaNoWriMo? Are there things about this that need to be changed before I start writing it in 2 days? And if we find a lot of things that need to be changed and we mark it all up, then I'm going to fix those things tomorrow and give it one more good, like, deep dive. And that's all we have time for. And we will start drafting a book on Wednesday. So that's exciting. I'm going to go work on this, and hopefully I'll get to showing you my layout of the entire plot structure. I'm very excited because I do really like this book now that I've seen the whole thing and I've like gone through it in my mind. I think it's going to be a very fun journey. All right, I'll be back later. So here it is. Here's the outline. Oh my gosh. It's 15 pages, and this is after I cut half of it just to condense it so that it's readable. There is a lot to be worked on. So my husband and I are going to do what I like to call an outlining party, and we are going to completely mark this whole thing up and just make it better, make it work. Updates will be coming. I ended up replotting the entirety of Act 1. What the situation is here at midnight on the night before NaNoWriMo starts is that I finally have a scene that I am absolutely in love with to start out the book. The rest we shall see from there, but I feel like Act 1 is now finally really, really solid, and I only realized it was completely unsolid when I printed this and then looked through it. I was like, wait, why do I hate this? I was actually having a crisis there for a second, but we're okay now. It's the morning of November 1st. So today is the first day of NaNoWriMo. So I wanted to conclude my outlining video, leave you here, and then go start my first chapter of my book. I was up pretty late last night, as you saw. It was like 1 when I kind of wrapped up shop. And I'm always incredibly optimistic about how much work that I can get done and that I can get done with my husband when we're nitpicking like dense plot material. And I was like, we'll get through the whole thing one night. Let's just do it. I kid you not, we got through the first page, and there's 15 pages. Act 1 is like 2.5 pages. I think that I plotted it while I was sick, which I still kind of am. But anyway, I was like, clearly my brain was not in this because I don't know what's going on here. It was not there. It wasn't what I wanted. So anyway, it took us like 2 hours like an hour and a half to replan Act 1. I mean, a first scene is so important for a book, and so I feel like that's why there's so much pressure, right? It's way better than before. So I'm very, very happy with it. The rest of the outline doesn't need that much of an overhaul. Some parts of it do, but not for a while. So I can write for a long time without needing to like seriously re-brainstorm things. Yesterday, I also worked on character arcs. The trauma of the last book gives them new starting points for new character arcs, and it sets them off on a new path of development. I had to make sure that I actually had a plan for how the arcs were working, and so I created an outline for myself just to work through the character arcs. And so I went through that for both of my characters and kind of fell in love with their character arcs this season. Oh my gosh, season. The day this becomes a TV show. Oh, I can't. All right. Okay, I'm done with myself. Writing a series is fantastic. I was so scared of it when I started, but now that we're here, I am loving it. But essentially what I'm saying is that I'm ready for today. Like, I'm ready to jump in. We're going to get chapter 1 written. So I will see you next time with my vlog of week 1 of NaNoWriMo. I hope everything's going well so far. I hope you're having a lot of motivation and that we're starting out really strong. And even if you're not, if you're worried or anxious, you feel like maybe you'll scrap everything, don't. It's 30 whole days. Like, Just enjoy yourself. Be creative. Let's write something. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and also subscribe to see more writing and writing craft stuff from me. I also have a Fiverr down below for developmental critique and book coaching if you want me to help you with your book. See you in the next video. Bye.